The Khwarazmian Shah was dead, but the 2-year mission assigned to the generals Jebe and Subutai was only half complete. Genghis Khan had ordered them not just to kill the Shah, but to ensure no remnants of his military survived, and to map the entire western flank of the new empire. With just 20,000 highly trained horsemen, the two generals vanished into the unknown, leading the most ambitious reconnaissance mission in military history, a journey spanning over 5,500 miles. They were not conquering, they were gathering intelligence on future battlefields. From Persia, Jebe and Subutai rode north, determined to circle the entire Caspian Sea. This required them to pass through the formidable Caucasus Mountains, a natural choke point and home to powerful kingdoms like Georgia and the mountain tribes. The Mongol advance was initially stalled near the city of Derbent, located on the narrow coastal strip known as the Iron Gate, a pass easily defended by a few thousand men. Unable to breach the defenses quickly, the Mongols resorted to characteristic strategic deception. They approached the Lezghins, a local Caucasian tribe, and convinced them they were allies against the hated Georgians.
Once the Lezghins helped clear the path and allowed the Mongols through the Iron Gate, Jebe and Subutai promptly betrayed them, massacring their forces before turning their full attention to the wealthy Christian kingdom of Georgia.
The Georgian army, commanded by King George IV, was decisively defeated in 1221, suffering massive casualties. The Mongols, now having passed the great geographic barrier, began riding west into the vast Eurasian steppe. As they rode across the steppe, the Mongols encountered the Cumans Polovtsians, a powerful, nomadic Turkic group who were traditional rivals of the Mongols, but shared a similar lifestyle. The Mongols easily defeated the Cuman field forces, scattering them west. The defeated Kuman Khans fled to their powerful neighbors, the Rus princes, ancestors of modern Russians and Ukrainians, who governed the decentralized principalities centered around Kiev, Chernihiv, and Halych. The Kuman leader, Kotian Khan, convinced his son-in-law, Mstislav the Bold of Halych, that this new enemy, the Tatars, as the Mongols were now called, posed a threat to all of them. This resulted in an unprecedented military alliance. The Rus princes, normally embroiled in their own internal conflicts, assembled a vast, unified army of over 80,000 men, a force 4 times the size of the Mongol detachment, to face the invaders. They were confident they would crush the small, exhausted Mongol force. Jebe and Subutai, aware of the overwhelming enemy numbers, initiated a masterful tactical deception. They sent envoys to the Rus forces, arguing that their quarrel was only with the Cumans and offering peace. The Rus princes, outraged by the invasion of their allies' lands, executed the envoys. In response, the Mongol generals began a deliberate, controlled, feigned retreat that lasted for 9 days. The Rus army pursued aggressively, splitting into several groups as their forces became disorganized. Subutai and Jebe led the pursuit southeast, across the Dnieper River, until they reached the banks of the Kalka River in modern-day Ukraine. There, on May 31st, 1223, the Mongols suddenly turned and launched a devastating counterattack. The Battle of the Kalka River was a tactical masterpiece. The uncoordinated Rus forces hit the waiting Mongol lines one segment at a time. The main Mongol force, positioned behind a hill, allowed the initial zealous Rus vanguard to push forward, tiring themselves. The disciplined Mongol cavalry then enveloped the isolated Rus units, using their signature flanking maneuvers. The battle became a chaotic slaughter. The Kuman forces broke first, trampling their Rus allies in their flight. Over 6 princes of the Rus were killed, and the entire combined army was effectively destroyed. The 3,000 Rus who managed to retreat to a fortified camp were promised their lives would be spared if they surrendered. When they did, the Mongols honored their promise by not shedding their blood. Instead, the surviving princes were laid flat beneath a wooden platform, and the Mongols celebrated their victory with a feast atop the platform, crushing the princes beneath the weight of the triumph. The battle was a resounding confirmation that the Mongol military machine was superior to anything Europe could currently muster. The small force under Jebe and Subutai continued their ride, defeating the Bulgars of the Volga before finally turning east and returning to the main army. Their mission was a profound success, providing Genghis Khan with crucial intelligence and mapping the route for the future invasion of Europe. Shortly after their return, Genghis Khan launched his final campaign to crush the Western Shah once and for all, whose leaders had refused to supply troops for the Khwarazmian War. It was during this campaign that the Khan fell ill and died on August 18, 1227, at the age of approximately 65. The universal ruler died exactly where he had begun, conquering. The Khan's death triggered a crucial question. Could the sprawling empire survive without the founder? According to the Yasa, the army must return for a Kurultai to elect a successor. The massive war machine paused, the generals returned, and the fate of the world rested on the shoulders of the Khan's 4 surviving sons.